Hi, welcome to our training on mindset this week. We've got sort of two main strands of mindset that we come across in tennis. We've got the learning mindset and the competition mindset. From experience, a lot of people often sort of swing from mainly one side or mainly to the other side, but it's really important to sort of develop both sides to sort of develop our skills going forwards. As developing both sides, it's going to allow us to improve our sort of development, our technical, our tactical skills, but also as we're sort of playing our sort of the competition sort of elements as we're sort of playing the game. What we don't want is to be really focused on just the outcome and at the detriment of our development as a player. So that's often the competition person. All we're aware about is where we hit the ball and not how we do it. But when we can move the ball around, sort of play the game. On the flip side, the learning sort of mindset, if we're going too strongly down that way with not enough competition, we only think about the swing as we're sort of coming, and we haven't got the awareness of where the ball's going. And sometimes when we're sort of developing as well, we're sort of thinking about the swing and we lose track of the ball, which affects our timing. So to start with, like I said, both are important. We'll sort of develop both these areas. So in the learning mindset, what we've got is the idea of hard worker versus the talented mindset. This is sort of based on a study by sort of Carol Dweck with a book called Mindset, and essentially what it shows is how we perceive ourselves has a big effect on how we sort of learn and how we sort of develop and challenge ourselves in different situations. So the study and what it sort of showed was two sort of groups were sort of put in sort of a challenge with maths, and to start with, the test was sort of relatively easy. And what they did was the feedback that they gave. So one group was praised on, oh, such great hard work that you've done. So sort of a lot of their sort of feedback was based around hard work. And the other group, the feedback was, oh, how talented you are, and sort of your sort of a real natural at the sort of maths. So they got built up on this sort of mindset, and what they then did was they gave both groups a challenge that was deliberately too difficult. Now, what happened in this was the hard workers, because their perception of themselves was based around being a hard worker. So working hard and failing at the actual test, they are still a hard worker. So what they perceive themselves as hard workers, so they still tried hard even though they sort of weren't able to do it all. But the talented mindset, the by failing, it then challenges their sort of status of being talented. So what it does here is they effectively sort of give up, and they've got the excuse of, well, I could have done it, but I didn't want to. And the test results were the hard workers came back with much better results because they were sort of based on doing it on their hard work, where the sort of talented people would sort of give up on the challenge because it could affect them sort of being perceived as sort of talented or sort of natural in this thing. So having that sort of a mindset of being a hard worker makes a huge difference in our sort of mindset. Then we've sort of got a few different sort of areas that sort of I like to get our kids to understand and sort of develop. So we've got sort of focus versus awareness. Best way of sort of describing this and how it works is focus is like your sort of laser pen shining on something. So it's very focused. We're sort of very learning one particular thing. We're sort of really learning it very well. Um, Whether that may be on any particular shot, but we're focused on it. And then what we want to do is develop it from a focus to a sort of awareness. So awareness is like a big sort of torchlight sort of shining up across a lot of things. So it's not focused on one thing, but what happens is, for example, if our focus before was to finish over the shoulder, we have to focus on it to get it right. But then when we're playing, we still have the awareness to know when we haven't done it. So we're not focused on achieving it anymore, but we're aware. And if we've got both of these sort of skills down, we can, by focusing on something, we improve a lot faster. But then when we sort of move further ahead, if we've got the awareness of when it doesn't come in, it allows us to sort of play and concentrate on other things, but keeping elements in the game. Then we've got concentration. So concentration is the ability to do something over a longer time. So obviously it goes without saying, if we can concentrate for longer on the same thing, we're going to again get more repetitions of better quality. rather than only concentrating for a short spell of time, losing concentration, and then obviously we're not going to keep the same quality. As we're sort of at the tennis club, we obviously really encourage the sort of things about listening. Listening and sort of got below sort of effort sort of comes under that sort of hard work sort of category again. So what we often sort of encourage, we sort of give feedback sort of based around sort of things people can control. So very good listening, sort of great effort here. So these are things that we can control, and by controlling it, obviously, we know again if we're listening more, taking more information in from the coaches, we're going to be able to sort of put it into practice a lot better. And if we're working harder at something, so we're focusing, either whether we're focusing more, so like it could be focused on a particular technique, or it could be the effort of sort of just making sure we're sort of working hard to do what we're supposed to be doing. The experience is we get better quicker. Analogy that I often sort of describe sort of people is we need to get a certain amount of repetitions to make something a habit. So a habit is where we get to a point where we don't have to think about it and we do it without thinking. So if it takes us 1,000 repetitions to make something a habit, the quickest we can do it is with 1,000 repetitions. Whereas if we're not concentrating or we're not keeping the same effort, focus, or awareness as we're doing, it might take us 2,000 times to get 1,000 good repetitions to start turning it into a habit. So we need to sort of make the sort of every sort of shot count. Another sort of one phrase that I use at the tennis club is, are you a chance taker or a chance waster? Every shot is a chance to get better. Have you wasted that chance or have you taken that chance? So it's just building this sort of mindset into every time we're on court, we've got a chance to get better. On the other side of things, we've got the competition sort of mindset. So this is sort of our skill set that's going to help us sort of compete, but also sort of it helps us sort of improve as well with our general sort of skill set. So a few of the things that we sort of really sort of try to encourage at the tennis club is never give up. So as we're playing, we sort of never give up as we're sort of doing something. So it can be difficult, it can be challenging, but again, we're a hard worker. We don't give up. We sort of stick to our sort of values as we sort of come through with it. And sort of one of the things that we sort of talk about and never give up is chase every ball. A lot of people don't realise they can get to more shots, but if we have the mindset of chase every ball, as soon as we see it, we're trying to chase it and not let it bounce twice. And having that mindset again of chase every ball makes us sort of get more shots, and it's going to help our sort of skills as we play. Obviously, again, sort of trying our best, so not giving up when we're sort of doing, trying to sort of put our best effort in or our best focus in as we're sort of going, not sort of allowing ourselves to sort of get sort of distracted as we're sort of going. So distraction probably come under awareness a little bit again. And then sort of mistake management. So especially when we're sort of playing against each other, it's quite easy to sort of get distracted when we are sort of making mistakes. So what we don't want to do is make a mistake and then sort of get upset about it, and then that rolls on to our next one. So mistake management and emotional control sort of fall in sort of a very sort of similar bracket. What we want to be able to do is still manage to play it, trying our best the whole time, not get despondent, not get too angry as we're sort of playing. Emotions are a normal sort of part of sort of playing. If we care about something, if we care about the result, or we care about how we're sort of playing our process, then we will feel more emotions. But it's knowing how we control the emotions, not letting the emotions control us. Okay, so by doing that better, it makes a big, again, very big sort of difference. If we can't control our emotions, we're not going to be able to play to our best ability. A couple of other sort of like competition mindsets that we like to sort of install is never make the same mistake twice. So if I've hit into the net in the last rally, I don't want to hit into the net again. If I've hit it long, so I haven't had enough topspin on the shot, I'm making sure I've got enough sort of topspin on the shot. So what it's doing is we're evolving, we're learning and taking in feedback all the time. And this one sort of links along below again, is obviously about awareness of where your shots are going and the effects of your shots. So quite often the learning mindset, if I ask the question of where did your shot go, because they're solely thinking about whatever they're doing with their swing, they don't know where the ball's going. But we need to be aware of where our shot's going, and the better we get, what is the effect we're having on our opponent. So it's not just about us. About us is about our control, our swings, but we need to be knowing about where our shot's going, how it's affecting our opponent, and that will give us sort of more of a competitive sort of edge, and that's where our sort of competitive mindset comes in. Anyway, guys, thank you for listening to our sort of mindset sort of one today. I guarantee if anyone is doing all of these things very well, whatever level they start at, they are going to be absolutely flying. Okay, this is not just like tennis. If you do this in anywhere in your life, if you put these skills in place, this will make huge, huge improvements. Not many people do, but the ones who do it absolutely do brilliantly. So, possibly one of the most important sort of week's lessons that we've done. So, if you put any of these things in place, it affects everything else around it. Anyway, guys, have a fantastic week, and thank you for listening to us today. Okay, thanks a lot. Bye bye.